Hurrah!
Hello. Welcome to
It's a
Talk,
divisional round of 500 walk.
episode I don't know,
I don't know.
19?
Down the walk, baby.
What's up,
What the
y'all?
fuck, man? Man, it's good to be back. Still in playoff football. That's had some unfortunate turn of events that we'll talk about here in a little bit, but
Yeah. Believe it or not, that's the first time I smiled and laughed since last weekend.
he's been dead inside.
Honestly.
He
That's,
hasn't left the house. Look at he's in his sweats and stuff. He's been
yeah.
in the basement for a week straight.
Yeah. I haven't left since the last pod, actually. I've been waiting.
He's just been sitting down there.
Just jotting down notes of who we should let go. But yeah, man, with that being said, still made the best of it. Wild card weekend was fun. Not the most competitive, but as playoffs go, it'll get harder and harder usually as the weeks go on. So we'll have some fun matchups. But yeah, I mean, we had 6 fun wild card games throughout the weekend, I would say, or
So,
5 fun,
yeah,
1 terrible.
yeah, I think there were four fun ones, and then two
Yeah,
that
the one
just
that
did not do anything.
started it sour, ended it sour. Yep, I agree.
Pretty, that's a par for the course here.
Fuck. But yeah, I guess we'll go
All
over
right,
them. I'm
yeah,
down
let's.
7.
You were
Right?
down 6.
Oh, okay, I'll take it. I definitely wrote 7, but I'm taking 6. I'm not even gonna question it.
I need to stop giving you these. Damn,
I'm sure that's happened more than once.
this is like the third time when you
I'm
were
actually
like,
down 13.
he's down 74. It's been bad.
Yeah, down 6. Not bad. If it was golf, -6 is good. That wins you
Oh no,
tournament.
you were down 7. I'm
Fuck.
sorry,
Okay.
you were down 7.
Whatever, man.
But
Down 7
after
is
this
better
week,
for golf.
you were. Yeah, that's how we're doing it, right?
Yeah, I got a birdie just now. All right, let's get it, y'all.
Let's get
Uh,
into wild card weekend results.
yeah. I'll
As
take
Nick
over the
just,
first one, I'd presume here real quick.
yeah, I'll let you talk about it.
I'll start off negative. It was a bad performance. Other than Lad McConkey, even Herbert had I'd probably say one of, if not his worst game in the NFL. Even with that being said, the stats were padded in the opposite direction due to our lack of hands. I mean, Will Dissly, I guess, really cemented the end with that hand-delivered pick six. There was one a little bit over Lad's head, but it was still through his hands. I'm sure that's both of their faults, they'd admit. That was a pick. We couldn't get rolling. It started strong, too. Like, first defensive play, stripped the ball, Darren with the recovery. It was beautiful. We couldn't get in the end zone early. We got field goals. We were up 6-0, and then I think it was 6-10 at half. That Derwin pick got called back. That hurt. But ultimately, our interior line, just like all year, this is where I started getting a little more positive. We had a great year with such a lack of talent in the interior line, receivers outside of a rookie Lad McConkey. J.K. slightly had the ball rolling, but we couldn't pound the rock. We started losing that lead, and we were playing from behind like the whole second half. And yeah, I mean, I expect a lot of changes with Harbaugh and Ortiz, in charge in the front office. I'm still, it's a rebuild, and it was the first year, and we went fucking what 11-6 or 11-6, and made to the playoffs where a lot of people didn't think that would happen. So promising few years ahead of us, but at the end of the day, it's just another year where you don't win the Super Bowl, and then you gotta wait till August, and that's how I'm at. That's where I'm at now. I'm excited for the offseason. It just sucks. We should have been in the divisional round. I wouldn't have told you we were going to win the Super Bowl, but I think we would have beat Kansas City this week. I don't know.
Well, I'm sorry.
Bolt
That's all I
up.
can say.
Yeah, that's all I'll say to that. I mean, shout out Houston. Great defense. I expected it to be like that. They were getting in Herbert's face. There's a few balls where like Herbert had a touchdown and he couldn't get it going because the D tackles are just all up in his face. So got to fix interior line. Got to add competent weapons. There's a lot of people on contract years that we have to make decisions to let them go. So I mean, yeah, we'll just see what happens. Shout out Houston.
Yeah, I mean, look, I really thought the Chargers were going to pull it off. Obviously, this week, you kind of just you guys were a little flat.
Yeah.
Just could not make the plays that you needed to make. Couldn't finish drives, and I don't know if your defense just kind of checked out after being behind all game. It's a
Yeah.
lot of points for your defense to let up. Not to knock on Houston, they're a very talented offense. I know as long as they can protect Stroud. Yeah, I mean it is what it is. They relied super heavy on Lad McConkey. You can't not in the playoffs. You can't rely on just one player. So
That second half
um,
touchdown was insane.
it
Went up the
was.
middle, and he like pinballed off a few people and just cooked up the field, middle of the field. Like you usually
That's
don't see a guy running through the middle hashes like that for 70 something
yeah.
yards. So that was cool to see, I guess.
Yeah, that was nice. That's when I got to. That's when I finally cashed out on that
Yeah,
parlay.
you texted me that, and I was just like, I'm not responding. And then you know what happened right after that? That was where Will Dissly needed one more catch, and and then he
Dropped.
gave the, and I looked at cash out and went away. Cash out went away. I was like,
I told you I was like, as soon as Lad gets these yards,
oh my god.
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was so sad, dude. So sad. But
So,
once again, on to the off season. I just want to see us win a Super Bowl before I die. That's all I
hey,
ask.
that's it's not a whole lot to ask for. Look, y'all have a new head coach. There's a lot of things that were left over from the prior organization that needs to be cleaned up.
Yep.
I think it just shows that Harbaugh can work with what he's got. Now that he's got a little bit more control of the team. He's also got people believing in him, more people believing in him, that he can get the job done. I think they'll make the right decisions in the off season. He'll have a lot of input, and I think years to come it should look good as long as your players stay healthy. You have a lot of upside in your young receivers, your young tight end. Justin Herbert's only going to continue to develop, and as he gets more experience. So I don't see you guys going in the other direction anytime soon, unless the front office makes a really dumb decision for whatever reason. So
Yeah, nah, Harbaugh and Ortiz even spoke like a couple days ago, and they're like, we did Herbert a disservice. I mean, if anything, they're like, it is that's a professionalism thing to say, but it is true in the sense that even for the lack of time that they've had to build a roster, they just had this offseason after getting hired. You got Quentin Johnston out there, 6 targets, 0 catches. You got Will Dissly, like 11 targets, 3 catches. Like, Lad was literally the only NFL caliber receiver on our team throughout the whole year.
I mean, he had almost 200 yards, man. I mean, that's unreal. And for a single player to have 200 yards and y'all only score 12 points, that's unbelievable.
All right. Okay.
Moving on. Pittsburgh, Baltimore. We both got this one correct.
Yeah, Baltimore did exactly what they've been doing. Defensively, too, dude, the Steelers could not run the ball. The Ravens' rush defense is very, very elite, dude. I mean, to do that in the playoffs against a power run team with a well-coached team, the Steelers. Shout out the Steelers for coming back slightly in the second half and making it competitive. But Derrick Henry's a beast, and then Lamar didn't have to do too much, and he still played really, really efficient. And they can interchange with that. Now the Ravens they had Steven Sims running routes out there on the field. So that's the one thing you're scared to see. I mean, Zay Flowers should be back. We'll see what happens. They got a really tough matchup. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I still think they have a lot of momentum. Like you said, Derrick Henry getting over 180 yards. I mean, that's
insane.
What are you gonna do, right? So
insane.
All right, Denver at Buffalo.
Yeah, Denver had a hot start. Dude, Bo Nix threw that dot in the first drive back in the end zone. I think Troy Franklin is his college teammate, like he force feeds that dude the ball every once in a while, and it worked out there. It was exciting to see that start, but
that was it. That was the only time they scored again.
That was it. Buffalo.
They looked great for one play.
Yeah, Buffalo is nasty, dude, and yeah, they're nasty. James Cook, people don't even talk about him. The man got in the end zone almost 20 times this year, I think. And then you got Josh Allen playing MVP ball too. I mean, shout out Lamar Jackson. Can't discredit that guy's potential MVP too still, but that's what you want. Come in a wild card because you don't get the bye week and you just smash mouth a good defense in Denver. So love to see it. I'm kind of on the Buffalo bandwagon now. So Yeah.
Shout out Buffalo's defense, man. I mean, Bo Nix and that offense has been coming together a lot, in the recent weeks, and for them to, make a mistake on the, early drive,
Yep.
and then they made all the right adjustments from there, and they shut them out the rest of the game. So I think that's a huge testament to that defense. I know Josh Allen and James Cook, they're doing their thing. Josh Allen, like you said, playing MVP caliber ball, but shout out to that defense to take a lot of pressure off that offense.
Yeah.
So.
Team ball, and I mean that's what
Yep.
gets you to the bowl. So I mean this might be that year. Finally, we'll see. Unless Buffalo still has that curse, but they got past the divisional, or they got past the wild card round. So
Yeah,
see how they do here.
we'll
I think they usually lose the divisional, if I'm not mistaken.
13 seconds, yeah. That was divisional.
Yeah, crazy.
Or was
stuff.
that AFC? I don't know.
Actually, I think that Chiefs one was the AFC Championship. I think
I think it may
that
have been
was the
AFC.
AFC Championship. But regardless, Buffalo hasn't got to the big one yet, and they are. If any team is, them and Detroit are just so hungry to get there. I mean, we'll see our picks coming up, but they'd be naive still to not pick them too.
We got Green Bay at Philadelphia. Green Bay wasn't ready for this game. It's
Yeah.
Philly's been playing pretty lights out ball here the last few weeks, so I'm curious to see how they keep that momentum going. But I know we had Green Bay up in our top 5, not too long ago. But the last 2-3 weeks, I've just really, I don't know, they just have not been as impressive. I know they've been dealing with a couple injuries, but at the same time, it's to fall off like that, or maybe they were just playing teams at the right time early on. But
yeah, their matchups were pretty favorable. I don't think they had any really tough matchups where they prevailed and came out and won. They competed, but yeah, Jordan Love, I'm sure he'd say it. He had a pretty bad game. I mean, like Herbert, a lot of analysts are just going to point out the picks. I'm still a believer in them. I think they got some years to build. I think you keep LaFleur. You got great weapons at receiver. Josh Jacobs is still, he's chugging along. I mean, he didn't get. I'm sure he's mad with his performance too. He didn't have any big breakout runs. But he still produced. But yeah, I mean, shout out Philly. I mean, they're proving people wrong. I mean, last year they came out super flat in the playoffs. So to come out and do what they did, with Saquon, they're different. So. Shout out Philly and Jordan Love. Time to regroup, just like the Chargers.
Hell yeah! Yeah, shout out Saquon, man. I know when he left New York, his mindset was getting to a Super Bowl, and they're treating him right now, and they're getting him what he wants, and the man deserves it. He's had a hell of a season. He's had a hell of a career, to be honest with you, and I love to see him.
Dude. He's humble too in that sense. Like his play style always says very shifty like Barry, but he also he goes down like he did it this week where they closed the game out and he had a breakaway run where he could have went for like 50 more for a touchdown. I'm sure bettors were mad, but I mean he did the right thing falling down. So
that knee, cost me like $600.
Yeah, I know it, but yeah, Saquon is a selfless player and a great. He's the best running back in the league. I'd pick him over Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry's a little older, and Saquon, you can't discredit his power ability, but he's just so shifty and just way so many crazy breakaway runs in different styles. You know what I mean? So, I mean, them two are insane. That'd be a fun Super Bowl, Saquon versus Derrick. That'd be fun.
Battle of the Birds.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, you have the Washington football team at Tampa Bay.
Hell yeah.
Let's go Commanders. That was a hell of a game. That was a very Washington-esque style to win the game.
Yeah, there's so many things I could go on about that. For one, just, I guess off rip, the kicker who doinks it in, what's his name? Zane Gonzalez. He has OCD. I don't know if you heard about. I'm not sure how factual that is, but there's been multiple clips this season where he has to come out for like a clinching kick, and he'll put his helmet off and on like 20 times and go like this, and then he'll like take his shoe off and pull his. I feel like you shouldn't have a kicker with OCD. Like ever. Way too many negatives. If I'm on the other team, I am fucking with that dude so heavy. Like everything legally that I can do to fuck his hair up. Like, you know what I mean? Like blowing his hair. Start saying numbers out loud or something like in disorder, like 7, 12, 13, 14, 8, 6, 4. He's like, what's going on? Just anything. I don't know. OCD kicker doesn't sound good.
Gonzalez, your chin strap's off. Your socks are down.
Yeah, your socks shrugged up. Something. But anyways, that's all I first want to say. Tampa's a great defense, and literally, like I remember the very first 2 plays where Washington came out. Jaden Daniels, I think, got put on his butt like the first 2 plays. They came with some blitz packages, got some rush with their interior D line, and then the very next play, 3rd down, Jaden Daniels throws a dot for like 50 yards to Terry McLaurin. So right off that, I was like, okay, hold up, Jaden Daniels is locked in still. And he's, I'm still on the Jaden Daniels wagon, man. He is different, dude. He is different than not just rookie quarterbacks. He's different than a lot of quarterbacks, more than just many than like maybe other than Patrick Mahomes. He's so cool, calm, and collected, more than Mahomes as far as like how calm he is. And they went for
Jane
a 4th
Daniels,
down. They were doing.
he's
it,
out there having fun, man.
Yeah.
He's having a good time. He's not letting everything get to him. Like we said earlier in the season, he had his like rookie jitters the first couple games, but once he got acclimated to the league, it's been sailing ever since. Not a huge stat game for him, but he proved that he is a leader out there. And he once again late in the game, down, losing or tied. Drove him down the field, allowed the kicker to make a game-winning kick.
Yeah.
And that's what winners do, man. That's what leaders do. So yeah, big shout out Washington. Tampa was a tough team. They really wanted to get in there. I had a lot of faith in Tampa as well, but Washington, they're hungry, man, and it's fun. They're fun to watch. If anything, if you're looking for a little bit of blood pressure, tune in 4th quarter of a Commanders game. You'll have some fun.
Yeah, man, and they got a super tough matchup. And I mean, they came out this week, the wild card round, going for it on 4th down, trying to keep the clock, hold the possession. Just extend the clock. Really is what it seemed like they were doing more so for those 4th downs. And if there's any other team that really does that, it's the Lions. So that's gonna be a fun matchup, man. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna be picking Detroit, so we'll see.
I mean, look, if they have any chance to win the Super Bowl, get through this thing, they have to prove that they can beat a team like Detroit. Because if they're playing a KC or Buffalo, for instance, like you need to be able to take out a powerhouse team. So it's if they win here, and I don't know. If they win here, I think they might make it all the way.
Yeah, with a rookie quarterback, that'd be. I don't know. I know Ben won a Super Bowl his 2nd year, but
I don't think a rookie quarterback's ever won a Super Bowl. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, there was a fun stat. There was a fun stat as well. I meant to say, if Jaden Daniels wins, he'll be one of like 3 rookie quarterbacks to ever win 2 road playoff games, and that is Mark Sanchez and Joe Flacco.
2 of the most elite quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, exactly. Fun stat.
Man, to be grouped in with those greats.
Elite level.
Ah!
Yeah, I remember Mark Sanchez went to the AFC Championship his rookie year. They beat us. They beat us in the divisional. So, yeah.
Mark fucking Sanchez. Let's go. All right, this is where your 7-point deficit became a 6-point.
Yeah, let me write 6.
That's where the 6 came from. Minnesota, LA. Man, Minnesota looked awful. Sam Darnold, I don't know if it was the pressure, being in such a high caliber game, or if LA's really just that good. Maybe they are. But for him to have that crummy of a game, I mean, he was throwing it at people's feet, over their heads. Yeah. You're not. I know, like, Jettas is gonna have a lot of attention, but you have other weapons on there, man, and you're targeting Hawkinson the most on these little checkdowns.
Yeah.
That's not going to win games, man. So
not at all.
I don't know. They didn't deserve that, the way he played. But it is what it is. LA came on top. Sean McVay. I mean, he's been in these situations more times than we can count. So shout out the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, with Love throwing 3 picks and Herbert throwing 4, I still say Darnold had the worst quarterback performance. Like, it was like old school terrible. Darnold seeing ghosts. Like that clip when he was on the Jets. He was, like you said, a lot of balls at the feet, missed timing. I think Jalen Naylor could have went for like 100-something. There was a few plays where he just missed him screaming wide open across the field. So I'm sure Darnold's eating himself alive for that. And he also, regardless of why, I mean, he costed himself millions of dollars. I'm sure he's going to get a nice little halfway contract, like 30 mil or somewhere, whether it's with Minnesota or somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be fun to see what happens there. But yeah, the Rams, man, they're the most vetted team in the NFC right now. They are, I guess you can say, defending Super Bowl champs from not so long ago, and they still got a same roster, really. I mean, with young defensive players who are making plays, scoring touchdowns on the defensive side. And then, I mean, Cooper Kupp didn't really get going, so yeah, we'll see. The Rams are not to be slept on whatsoever is the best way I can put it.
No, they're I think I had this weird misconception of them when they were still a banged up team from earlier in the season, so that kind of lingered. So the fact that they were this far, I was a little confused at first, but then I realized, once people got healthy again, they were actually a pretty stacked team to begin with. So curious to see how much further they go. They have a tough matchup this week.
Yeah.
We can get into that.
Higbee was a big dude, like a big return too. Like he came back late in the season, and the last two games, like this wild card in the Week 18, he's been eating it up. So I mean, that's another guy to look at. And backup tight end, but he's cooking. So yeah.
All right. So of the remaining teams, who are your Super Bowl picks?
I mean, last week I said Bills Detroit. So a little foreshadowing with my picks. It's not Detroit anymore.
Oh. All right. Well,
I still think the Bills are going to take the AFC. It's hard. I'm still going to pick the Bills over the Chiefs because I could see the Texans giving the Chiefs a lot of go. Chiefs defense is good, but yeah, I think it's going to be the Bills and the Rams.
Ooh.
I want to pick the Commanders. I got the Commanders being. We'll see. I got the Commanders being the Lions. Obviously, is what I'm saying.
Well, then let's get into it, man, because I still have Detroit and Buffalo going at it, but obviously your answers have changed a little bit, and we'll see why.
Yeah, I switched it up here. We got 2 game differences here, so I guess we'll just go down the line. I mean, first game, Houston at Kansas City. Kansas City coming off the bye week, first seed. Obviously, slightly underwhelming with that fact still. I mean, this year, but their defense is still elite. Houston's defense looked really good against us, but I think the Chiefs' offensive line is that much more better, and they're that much more experienced that I just can't pick Houston to beat Kansas City at home.
No, I'm going to have to agree. KC at home, after a bye week, they're fully rested. I'm not going with Houston. Like you said, KC's defense is underrated, very good. Houston's O-line, I know they seem to look decent, last week. I think KC gives that O-line a lot of trouble.
Yep.
And CJ Stroud's going to be fighting for his life in my, if I had the crystal ball in front of me. Give us KC.
Hell yeah.
All right, and this is next game. The County is at Detroit.
Yeah.
You go Washington, and I'm still going Detroit.
Which I get. I mean, like I said earlier, it's naive to pick Washington, but I think the way they played last week, showing that they're going to go for fourth downs to make sure they control the clock, that's obviously what Detroit does too. And as powerful as Detroit is, you can't say that because of that, they're the most gambling team in the league. And with gambling comes games like this where I think the Redskins ultimately win fourth down conversions against Detroit, get more out of that, and Jaden Daniels wins the game. And then, yeah.
Well, I think not.
Yeah.
I think, aren't we getting some key players coming back from injury?
I think David Montgomery might be back. I saw news about that. I just think, Marshawn Lattimore has owned up that cornerback one. Like, obviously he's been kind of getting eaten up. I mean, Mike Evans is Mike Evans, and they've had that bitter rivalry between each other. I think Marshawn Lattimore will follow Amon-Ra. I think the Redskins' run defense is ferocious and quick enough to try to limit Gibbs and just returning Montgomery if he is back, and force Jared Goff to make some fourth down boo-boos, maybe pick or two. I just see that happening. I can see it happening. It's the NFL, man. Anything can happen.
See, what I honestly see happening is Detroit getting like a 35-point lead, and that's just going to be
That
it.
definitely could happen. That definitely could happen.
And then,
We'll find out Saturday.
rookie quarterback who has played stellar lights out is feeling a ton of pressure, being 35 points behind, and making some bold decisions that could either pay off huge, get a one-shot touchdown late in the game, or cost them big. So I think the experience on Detroit, I like it, and I just know that Detroit can put up 52 points in a game easily.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is their year, right? Like, there's teams where, like, this is their year. It's like Detroit, Buffalo.
this has to be it, man.
Yeah.
And then next game, we split again. This is your Super Bowl pick. Or at least enter the Super Bowl. LA at Philadelphia. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I don't know, man. It's like this was more so a gut feeling. I mean, like I said, LA, you just can't sleep on them as far as their veterans and their experience and their ability to pass the ball. And then they stay so true to the run game too. Their defense is pretty good. I think you try to limit Saquon to like 100 or less, and then I don't know. It's more of a gut feeling thing, and then also, as much as I really honestly give a fuck about it. The whole LA Fire thing, it's going to be a big like narrative. You know how the NFL does that, so it's going to be like fight for LA. Like, I don't know. I can see that happening.
I think that's what happened this past week. I don't think lightning's going to strike twice. I think LA coming to a cold weather stadium.
Yeah.
Away with
Fair.
the fan base that Philadelphia has.
It's probably going to snow Sunday. I don't know about early, but
it is supposed to snow early in the morning. So by the time you wake up on Sunday morning, it should start snowing, and it should go into the evening. So there should be snowfall, and I think that plays in the favor of Saquon.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You don't after you get a little cold and a man who can run as hard as he can hit you. It sucks. Philly's offensive line is mean, so it's just going to be a brutal, tough, bang it out kind of game. And I think the weather, home field advantage, everything about that plays in the favor of Philadelphia, who is a very strong running team, and their defense is not to be slept on either. So
yeah,
should be a good game though.
Excited, I guess. Chargers should be alive. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Next game, Baltimore at Buffalo. Give me Buffalo, baby. I think this is going to be an amazing game.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is your MVPs right here.
Yeah, this should be an amazing game, dude. I think it'll be a matter of turnovers. I don't know if I'm pretty sure Buffalo. Both teams are probably really efficient, but I would assume Buffalo is more efficient as far as not turning the ball over. But that's both two good teams. So just give me Buffalo at home. I'm rooting for Buffalo.
Yeah, Josh Allen had a very few picks this year. I don't know exactly the stats on their running backs fumbling or anything like that, but Josh Allen's really limited his interceptions. So I think as long as they play that clean Buffalo kind of offense that they've been playing in the latter half here, they should have what it takes to take out Baltimore. And Buffalo's defense is not all don't sleep on them either. They've made clutch plays when they needed to. And if snow is a factor up there too, I think that also slightly plays in the favor of Buffalo.
Yeah.
It does get cold in Baltimore, but not quite like the lake effect snow and wind.
Yeah,
up there
if any team has a home field advantage, it's Buffalo. In the playoffs, come on, they're gonna go nuts. But I mean, we'll see what happens. As we're talking, I'm just thinking about like growing up. Like I guess justifiably, I've hated the Patriots and I just hate the Ravens. And now that the Patriots are whatever, it's like all this hate. Like if I hate any team, it's like it's the fucking Ravens. And it's just because I'm here and I'm gonna be rooting so hard for Buffalo. That's all I'm saying.
I might go pick up a Josh Allen jersey now.
Fuck it. Yeah, at my job today in the cafeteria, they had like a big Ravens-Bills thing, and you could pick purple beads or the blue beads. I was like, yeah, I'm grabbing a blue bead, dude. All day, baby.
Justifiable.
Wait, hold up. Did you hear that?
No.
I think the dog farted. All right.
You need a better microphone.
I should have put it down. All right.
All right, those are our picks. If everything goes Josh's way, he will be down 4, which means by the time the Super Bowl comes, he could potentially get himself out of this hole.
Oh, I'd be down. I'd be down 1. There'd be 3 more games. There'd be because conference, and then 2 rules. So there'd only be 3 unless we pick the Pro Bowl.
That yeah, the tug of war
Dude, being down
matters.
1's a win for me. I don't care. Hell
Okay,
yeah.
well,
That's it, I guess, right?
that's
I mean, we
it,
didn't really
yes.
we have it's
Short
early
week.
to pick parlays. I mean, I'm gonna ride with my 4-game parlay.
That's what I mean. I got all favorites here. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so I mean, even favorites in the playoffs, I'm sure will get you some money. So, hell yeah, man! Divisional matchup should be fun. It should have a fun weekend. We are what 2 days? Well, no, we're tomorrow. It's Friday. I thought today was Thursday.
Tomorrow, yeah. What are you doing for the tomorrow's games?
I have to do shit in the morning and make sure I get home by 4. Is it 3 or 4:30 the first game? I think it's 4:30. I think.
4:30.
Thank God.
It's
I have
3
to
on
go
Sunday.
Yeah, I have to go do adult shit. I have to look at a townhome to see if I want to rent it.
Ugh.
So I'll do that in the morning, and then I'm gonna be home,
All right. Well,
rooting for the Texans, I guess.
nope. Fuck no. They're AFC
Can't
South.
do it. Can't root for the Chiefs.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
they're AFC West, so I get it. So
Fuck 'em.
it makes sense. Anyways, appreciate y'all tuning in. Follow one of our parlays here. It's
Right.
just the money lines, but you might get a little bit more if Josh is correct. But I think this far into the playoffs, I would imagine both are about minus 100 something. So
Yeah, it's probably nothing crazy. I mean, I'm sure the Detroit one is the most, obviously, right? I mean, seeding and just play style, but that's the one I'm really rocking with, man. Give me Washington. Hail to the Redskins. I still pick the Rams. We'll see how I feel next week.
all right. Well, until then, thanks for tuning in. Hope you all enjoy some divisional football. And that was Divisional Round 2025 of Pound the Walk Podcast, baby.
Pound it. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Pound it. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'm like an action